if you go over to our Instagram, there is a place selling an old Ron and Ron Radio Bad Boys T-shirts. This is very difficult for me because they're called Ragged Vintage, and so I'm in a vintage shop, and here's what it says: a piece of Florida history right here, and then a laughing face, which kind of hurts a little bit. Ron and Ron were syndicated radio personalities from Tampa, and this shirt shows. I don't know what that means. And then they write, "Gotta love the dude smoking a Fat J for his photo shoot." So that's me
smoking a
Fat J for my big Radio Bad Boys thing and my vintage shirt. So
now I remember these shirts, and it's funny looking at them because I feel like it looks pretty fresh. Like it looks like something a streetwear company would put out now because it's such a throwback look. I'm serious. It's like
everything about your statement was really cruel. It's not. Look, let me just say this, and I'm going to say this to you and Earl. Out of all the isms, sexism, racism, the worst is ageism. And I believe that. Donald Trump believes that. Joe Biden believes that. All of us think this is the most difficult ism that there is. Now, here's what's surprising to me. This is the worst looking shirt I've ever seen in my life. The way we're photoshopped on there is fucking horrendous. And the color is terrible. And people are thinking the logo looks like crinkle fries, which also hurts.
It does kind of look like either crinkle fries or like you're in a sea of Cheetos or something.
Right. The logo is ridiculous too. It was ripped off 95 YNF logos. And I don't know who gave us the term Radio Bad Boys. I'm going to guess it was a consultant, because when I started radio at YNF, they actually said, now, whenever you say 95 YNF, you have to say the home of rock and roll every single time. We have to ingrate that into people's heads. And I go, I will not be doing that. And they're like, why? It's our thing. I go, well, we're not the home of rock and roll. You could argue that could be Memphis, perhaps. You know, maybe if I lived in Memphis, I might say this is the home of rock and roll. But I can honestly tell you that rock and roll does not live in Tampa. They only caught on to it in 1979. You know what I mean? Like they weren't even around for the first 3 decades. And then they also wanted me to say that we reach the beaches and we rule the pools. And I had to say, I also won't be saying that.
That I'd say.
Yeah.
At least once a show. We reach the beaches and we rule the pools.
It was very important if you could reach the beaches. There are always like stick problems that some radio stations have, that they don't reach certain areas and they reach other areas better. We wanted to let people know we reach the beaches. And by the way, if you decide not to go to the beach, you're just back in your pool, we fucking rule that.
Yeah.
That's the place that we rule.
If you're like one of those types who doesn't like sand, you know.
Right.
We also rule the pool.
And we're playing 8 Def Leppard fucking songs this hour.
Why isn't it just the home of Def Leppard then?
Oh, fuck. I would have said that in a heartbeat.
Man, I kind of wish I had this shirt. It's pretty
You're just fucking taunting. It's
I'm
awful
not.
to taunt. It's a mean thing to taunt.
It looks like hype beast wear.
I don't know what that means.
I think that Vito could probably explain it.
Vito?
The term out. But I don't think
Explain.
Hypebeast is modern culture. It's like hypebeast shit is like brands like Supreme, you know, like modern styles that everybody just wears because they think it's cool. I agree with Gail. I think if a girl were to put that shirt on with some biker shorts and some sunglasses, that's a fit. That's a drip right there.
Everything that you said, I don't understand it, but it feels incredibly mean. It feels incredibly mean.
Well, this weekend, I gave my girlfriend a 90s WCW shirt.
Yeah.
Vintage streetwear is where it's at right now. Especially with biker shorts and sunglasses. They call it the Princess Diana look.
I didn't know that.
All cruel. Everything that you're saying is absolutely the meanest things I've ever heard in my life.
Does this have something to do with Visco girls? Is that what they're called? Visco?
Yeah, Visco Girls is a thing. Visco's a photo editing app. Honestly, I'm really big into it and I use it a lot.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you were a Visco girl.
Joe Sign Pro says this belongs at the Hard Rock. You know who belongs at the Hard Rock? Johnny. That's who belongs at the Hard Rock. And I think he realizes he made a giant mistake by going to Margaritaville. All right, I'm going to read some of the things people are saying. Found next to a dead German tourist T-shirt. Sweet dupage, Ronnie Blunts. Dashboard says, this is amazing. What are they asking? I'll say this. Whatever they're asking, get it. Because it's going to go up in value faster than that fucking Tesla stock. That's for sure. E-Rock said, send me that, please. Thanks in advance. Well, you have to make a deal with them, E-Rock. I have nothing to do with it. Real Quinn says, love that from a distance, all the Ron and Ron logos look like Band-Aids. All these things hurt.
I think that they think you're cool.
Stainless Marv says this shirt screams early 90s Florida. We actually used to sell ourselves as early 90s Florida. We're like, hey, you're listening to early 90s Florida. The bad boys are going to say something shocking. Yeah, we rule the fucking pools, you know?
I think it's cool. Like, it's kind of modest. Like, they know they rule a pool, but just happy to just reach the beach is enough.
It's
you know,
the
you're
most
not
you
gonna
can
rule
do.
The beach.
Yeah. No.
I mean, it's the ocean.
Nobody rules.
You can't control it.
That's no man's land. The beach is no man's land.
Himself.
Yeah. I remember, this is how different the fucking thing. We had 3 lines at that radio station. One was for Pinellas, one was for Hillsborough, and then there was the 800 number if you were in any of the surrounding areas. You know what I mean? So if you were all the way down in Bradenton or all the way out in Plant City or up in Lutz, you all had to fight when it was time to give away those fucking tickets. Well, we did rule the polls. They can't take that. They can't take that away from us. You know what I mean? At one time, we ruled the polls. It's like looking back and just like saying that once you won a fucking championship in some fucking league that no one gives a shit at anymore. But I will tell you, terrestrial radio at that time was so much fun because it was literally a big deal to people. You know what I mean? They would literally fight. Yeah. Todd Barry said, if Florida doesn't implement a statewide mask requirement within 10 days, I will renounce my University of Florida English degree, 2.11 GPA. Okay. Threats out there.
You don't want to see that happen.
I'll just say this, Todd Berry. Good luck getting a job in fucking comedy without that degree, because it's not going to happen.
What's Florida doing now? I know that in South Florida they're closing the beaches again, or close the beaches again. Are they doing any pullback on their reopening now that they're spiking so bad? Like, what is the governor doing?
They are not. See, we don't have a set plan in this country. It's not coming from the top. So each county or town down there is doing their own thing. In South Florida, they're much more tense than they are in Tampa Bay or Jacksonville. The mayor said this of Tampa. He does not believe that COVID reaches the beaches, but he's afraid that it may rule the pools. So be careful.
It definitely does. I saw just before we went on air, and I didn't actually see him speaking, but I just saw the news alert that here in New York, de Blasio was saying that the public schools for fall are not officially going to return full time. Like right now, their plan is some sort of limited school day where they're only going anywhere from 1 to 3 days a week for a very short time. So not a full reopening of schools in fall as of right now.
His plan was 2 days 1 week, 3 days the next week. That's the plan. Now, what that gains, but he said, and this made me actually laugh, they did a survey, and New York parents are like, yeah, we want our kids to go to school in the middle of the pandemic. We really don't want them at home right now. And also, when they're there, feed them. Give them food.
I have a couple friends who have babies all around Juju's age, and two of them are saying that they're making plans now to find a daycare that's going to be open within the next month or two. And both of them admitted, I don't feel any safer. I just feel like I have to do this. So I think it's just parents are starting to lose their minds more than anything.
I also have seen people who have pushed the baby cart out in front of traffic to get the cars to stop. So I understand there's all different kind of parenting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Believe me. I'm an old school bad boy myself.
Right.
I get it.
True. Some people parent from the home of rock and roll.
Shrekalov also said, I feel like they really missed an opportunity to be bad boys with a Z. Yeah, I don't think anybody was doing the Z on the end of words back then. It was pre-internet. Nobody was very far apart.
Yeah, I mean, look at the use of capital letters. We don't even use those anymore.
Randy said, Doobie and Mullet on the home of rock and roll. I'm just fucking happy that I wasn't rocking a mullet there, because there's been times.
Yeah, there's times that it could have been called Mullet and Mullet.
That's the kind of isms that I hate. Ageism. Holly said, I saw one at the Wagon Wheel Flea Market. Well, now I'm feeling good about myself. Smugger said, let the puppies breathe.
Classic film.
And then I see this. Nice try, Radio Chef, but nobody rules the pools like Gail and Juju. Yeah, because the pool is so close to them. It's a baby pool.
It's very easy to rule that pool.
All right. Luther Tide said, I would get to work and just sit in my car laughing all morning. Well, that's nice.
That's really sweet.
Very nice. Yeah. Seems like you should have went into work, though. Yeah. Cost him his job.
Sorry. You owe this guy everything.
Bob Fonseca says, does that come in a schmedium? I'm sure, Bob, you've got some nutty fucking T-shirts in your past, too. and Shrek rewrote, I just realized those aren't crinkle fries. That hurts. Schubert wrote, oh shit, the old days. Schubert used to do that show with us. You know, I have a spy report.
Spy report.
Ragged Vintage just put out a story that just says, and just like that, sold out. They've completely sold out what I imagine was one shirt. Somebody got the vintage Radio Bad Boys early 90s t-shirt where gotta love the dude smoking a Fat J.
I love that Fat J you're smoking.
I love it. Still smoking a Fat J to this day. Chris, did you buy it?
I did not get it. As soon as I went to the account, it said it was sold out. I feel like an idiot.
No, he didn't go.
Hate
to the
you.
account.
I know. I'm a failure.
Oink oink if
want-
you want to redeem yourself.
Chris,
Oink,
there's still a
oink.
Stone Temple Pilots shirt on there.
I'm taking a look
If
at
you want to
this.
go get that.
I'm taking a look at this InXS shirt. That's pretty cool.
Now, here's the thing.
NXS
I would say InXS and Stone Temple Pilots, they seem vintage to me, but I don't think of myself as vintage. That's the thing. Like, we don't know who we are.
Dude, that
I
NXS
hope-
shirt is cool.
Yeah. Well, the fucking Ron and Ron shirt's pretty fucking cool. A
Sure.
dude is smoking
But
a
it's sold
fat
out.
fucking J. You know?
Dude.
And it looks like I'm wearing an untied tie, or maybe I am just wearing a tie. I can't tell. But I can also tell that we weren't together in this picture. You know what I mean?
You guys
don't-
couldn't get your busy schedules together?
Well, we had 4 hours a day we were doing a show. The rumor is she bought that vintage Ron and Ron shirt, the Radio's Bad Boys.
Oh, that was supposed to be Chris's.
Yeah. He didn't act fast enough. Again.